Yeah, True Talk Police wants to add his voice to this trending issue of Dowen College, Lekki, Lagos. First of all, our heart condolence to the parents, family of late Sylvester Oromoni. It's so unfortunate that he has to end like that. And this is also us saying no to cultism, no to cultism. That you survive cultism in school does not mean that you should be silent or you encourage it with your children. That being said, I've seen via social media, news commentary, and every whatnot, everybody is in sorrow and in pain knowing what this young boy went through and how it could have been prevented. It wasn't prevented, and everybody are calling for the head of the culprits. Now this is in that light. We are also calling for the head of the culprits, those who have led to the deaths, the demise, early demise of this young man, the brutal murder. This is not a brutal murder, that's no better way to put it, of this young soul should be brought to book. But True Talk Police is going to look it from a different point of view, because everybody is pointing finger at one source. Everybody is looking at the colleagues of Sylvester, his fellow student. Mind you, Sylvester is about 12 years old, and all the boys involved were in that light. So I'm going to align suspects. I have aligned close to 7 suspects, 6 suspects here that I want us to critically view, analyze who is actually responsible for the death of Sylvester Oromoni and his likes, many who have died in this format. This is popular because of the name of the school and it went viral. But believe you me, it has been happening in different formats and in lesser places. But before I go there, let me just draw a picture about Dowen College. Dowen College charges close to 300 to 500,000 as school fees per term, as research showed me. Per annum, an average child, Sylvester, was paying 2 million per annual. 1,250,000 for the student. And me and you know, in schools of such magnitude, you have lower members of the students. And I'm going somewhere with this analysis and this rating. You know, in Nigeria, in the society at large, prefers what is expensive. For us, the definition of what is good is what is more expensive. We don't look at the complement that makes it up, but we look at the price tag determined. So it's about statue. It's about who sends his child to the most expensive school. It's not who sends the child to the best schools. And I will show you some analysis here that would baffle you a little bit. Now the question is, who is responsible for Sylvester's death? We look at his colleague. These young boys are within the age range of 12, 13 or thereabouts. Now there's a popular slogan in the computer thing where you say garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. When garbage comes out, you begin to blame the computer. It is what you put into the computer that the computer brings out. In other words, it is the training we have given to these children that they portray outside. So why blame the computer when the computer is bringing garbage, when you have actually programmed garbage into the computer? Why blame 12-year-old children for their actions when those who are responsible to breed them have failed in that responsibility. Do you know we have primary schools with boarding schools? Parents are now career driven, money driven. All they are, for them, the definition of love is what they give to their children financially, what they get, how they build, you know. So if I can pay 2 million for my child, I think I've done the best. No moral, no morals, no sentimental attachment, no father, mother, son attachment with these children. So of course, no parent would want to build the child to that level. So you discover that these children are on their own. It is what they see in movies. Remember what happened in the supermarket at Abuja, where a girl of this age set a whole multi-million supermarket ablaze. And we're looking at it. She watched the movie. No parental guide. The parents were nowhere. They were busy looking for the millions. So my point of view is that these ones that we are all pointing fingers on this young lad, they are not responsible. They are not responsible. It is because there was a gap in their upbringing that has affected them to this point. Now, second culprit, second suspect, the staffs, non-academic, academic staff of Dowen College. Now, I've just given an analysis of amount they pay in the school. Now, some of those teachers don't even earn close to $1 million annually. Some of them don't even get close to $1 million annually. You have parents who have 2, 3, 4 children in Dowen paying $2 million for their children. We are talking about 6 million, 8 million annually, effortlessly, happily. It does not have anything to do with their account, and you want to discipline such person's children. Of course, the other day it went viral, I think a month ago in Ibadan, when a woman went to talks to beat up teachers who disciplined their children, and somebody had to film it. A mother went to school with talks to beat up somebody, a teacher who disciplined the children, and talk more of an institution like Dowen College, where these teachers are not earning, they are not in the same class with the parents, and these children are spoiled from home, and you expect these teachers to be disciplinary figure over these children. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So those blaming the staffs, now more to it, many of these teachers are not trained teachers. They have their BSc in one discipline or the other, but because society could not accommodate them where in their areas of specialization, and because there is no job, they take this menial. The teaching job is now seen in Nigeria as a menial job, where I could just go waste my time, wait for what I'm looking for. That is how teaching job is now in Nigeria. So you have teachers who are not supposed to be teachers teaching. Are they to be blamed? Let's leave that for the courts to decide. Now we have Dr. Olumide Phillips. Dr. Olumide Phillips is actually the proprietor or the owner of the institution. Is he not responsible? Because doctor is a trained engineer, petroleum engineer. What is he doing in the academic sector? A pharmaceutical shop are owned by pharmacists. That is how it is. Nobody is permitted in Nigeria to own a pharmaceutical shop. When you talk about building, we talk about structural engineers, we talk about the planners and all whatnot. These are professionals for that profession. You get my grief. So if a pharmacist is to run a pharmacy shop, no other person, a medical doctor does not have the right to get his license. Why is an engineer, a petroleum engineer, granted license to run an institution? Now, because teachers are looked down on in our society, it has now made it so much so that where they ought to be given license, academicians, trained in that prospect, not just to teach the children academically, but also to bring them up morally, psychologically. This is their training. Why are they not the ones being proprietors of all the schools? So you have a petroleum engineer in a field he knows nothing about. How can he bring in policies that will help it? He's not a professional in that field. So my bet, doctor is liable. But let's go further. Let's go further. What about the government, the approving authority, Ministry of Education, that actually misplaced approval to just money bags, that gave Dr. Olumide Phillips the approval instead of one who is trained in that field? My best bet that those who killed Sylvester, actually the government, ministry or the Minister of Education, those saddled with the responsibility of approving institutions for individual. That you approve it for a non-professional shows you are liable. Now let's leave those ones. Let's go to the persons nobody is talking about, the parents of Sylvester and the parents of those boys, the parents all over. I just told you in Ibadan, a lady went to the school to fight teachers. Now, I saw a video of the mother weeping. The mother was weeping. I began to account what happened when Sylvester came for holiday. That he was frugal, he was fearful, he could not eat, he was always on his own. And dear mother could not decode to make Sylvester tell her anything. In other words, it tells me there is no motherly and son relationship anymore with Sylvester and the mother. Where the child of 12 years cannot relate his fears, happenings concerning what he's going through. It therefore means that the outside influence is more than the inside influence. In other words, the parents has actually failed in their responsibility as parents. Definition of parental love or guide these days is how much I can provide for my school, for my children, and no longer what I can discuss with them. The mother went further to say the day they were preparing to go back, this young man summoned his last courage and spoke to the mother and said, "Mother, please, can my school be changed?" And she was like, "Why? Why?" This was a child who has not been himself. And she was like, why, you know? And there and then, the boy was sent back to the school. And the story, we all know how it ended. Because there is no relationship, we have defined everything about love to money, provision, what we can give, send them to London, send them to America, let the burden be on this thing. That is why you have a lot of children, wealthy men children, as drug addicts. And lastly here, society at large, me and you, our take, the most expensive is the best. The most expensive is the best. Dowen College does not have that much patronage because of the result it brings. No, it's because it's one of the most expensive schools. Facilities there are crazy. They eat, probably the cooks are from London. What more can I say? And so we don't look and we leap. And the end point is that Sylvester Oromoni is late. Please, police, Nigerian police authorities, please take a look at this whole thing. Those young men are simply described as garbage in, garbage out. Simple. They are victims as Sylvester was also victims. The teachers, the staffs are also victims as Sylvester is also victims. The real culprits are the proprietors, the parents of Sylvester and the parents all over, and probably government and society at large. I want to leave you with this story I had in Ekiti State. I was going to the mountain, and I missed my stop late in the night, so I had to stay in a hotel. That was on a Saturday. On a Sunday, I had to attend mass in Ekiti, in the church there along the express. And the priest told, in his home, he told the story concerning the Ekiti High School. The alumni were having a celebration. They were opening some block of flats. A particular accountant gave back to the school, and he built 2 blocks for the school, and it was being opened. But a week before the opening, he sent for a certain Mr. Ojo. Ojo was old. He had to even give him 10,000 to come. So when the building was opening and he was supposed to give a speech as the one that donated the building, he began to describe what the school did for him. That long ago, he was supposed to be a vulcanizer, but he was going to school. He would come late. He would leave early. But a particular teacher took interest in him. That teacher had a long cane and was always weeping. So for the fear of his cane, he would come early, because the teacher took a peculiar interest in him and would always take him to the staff room to teach him mathematics. The teacher happens to be the mathematics teacher at his time. Now, to cut the long story short, he said here he is now a chartered accountant, successful at that, compared to his chosen profession at that time to be a vulcanizer. He brought an SUV, a brand new SUV, and pointed to Mr. Ojo, who was sitting in a way, not knowing that they were being referred to him, and said, if not for Mr. Ojo, he would not have been who he was today. Mr. Ojo fell and was shedding tears, and people were in tears and touched. Ojo was a poor man in the village. Now he owns an SUV, and money was given to him. Why? He was a teacher at heart. He took his job beyond the salary he was being given. And later in his life, when he wasn't expecting, he got a reward unexpected. Ojo must have done that to many children, because it was in him to do. So this is encouraging teachers to be teachers. Forget about what the society is saying. Forget about how we are looking down on you. Your job in building our children, in building us, cannot be overemphasized. God bless the best, the good teachers. It's not the most expensive school. It is the teacher that is a teacher at heart. Just like Mr. Ojo, one day you will be rewarded beyond your expectation. Once again, Sylvester Oromoni, God bless you. Your soul rest in peace. You have struck all this. You did not die in vain. You have brought all this courts in view in secondary school and in primary school, and a review where parents need to rethink, most especially mothers. Pursue career, but do not kill your children, because this child was actually killed because of lack of parental connection with the child. That was what actually killed Sylvester, and not the other way around. Start having a wonderful and close relationship with your child. Stop pursuing these millions the way you are doing. It is not God. Those money can't be God, and they can't take the place of what you can actually give to your children. You can't buy that love. You can't buy that closeness. But all the same, the mother of Sylvester, Daddy, I'm a parent. I'm also talking to me. God help you. So sorry for this loss. So painful. So painful. God bless you all.